There you go. I've decided to go for the crown. I've discovered I'm on YouTube. So, you know, I should wear the crown. All right. So for those who don't know me, Misty Henkel, sales queen, networking queen, whatever you want to call me, but ultimately I have a crown. So clearly that's what I am. Today, in class today, I'm going to talk about tracking systems, or more specifically, probably manual tracking systems. But let's have a look at some manual tracking systems. That's what we'll call it. Let's find out who has any sort of tracking system for their business, manual or otherwise. All right, we've got Fred, we've got Alison, we've got Mark. Okay, there's a number of you, right? Now, what does it track? Fred, what does your system track?
Pretty much everything from the start of the sale to the end of the sale.
Okay, yep. Winnie, what does yours track?
I don't know, I copy yours, like what I learned. So I put all the lists, who are all the people that I talk with, new one, old one, and, whether, and then, to have I follow up with them.
Okay, sure. So Fred's got one that tracks everything in the sales system. You've got one that tracks customers, the new customers, the old customers, all the customers that you've had. Yep, so you've got one that tracks customers. All right, who else has a tracking system? Alison had a hand up. What's your tracking system on?
Well, I use CRM Hub by the Transformational Group.
Yep.
If anyone would like a link, just let me know. I know the owner.
Yep.
And it does everything from how many leads I get in, my conversion rate, how many people click on the links that I create from my calendars and my landing pages, and how much money I make, which is always great.
Always good, right? Excellent.
It's a list of all the things that I'm behind on. Yes.
Nice one. Okay, Stuart, you got your hand up. What's your tracking system on?
Mine actually tracks everything, including interaction. It's got a version of every major known a system that's out there, including its own version of Xero built in as well. So, and how everything is utilized. So I can actually create a dashboard on anything I like.
Okay. Ray, what's your tracking system on?
I use Outlook, and I track everything from where I've met the person, and whether it was socially or business, and their categories, their type of business, when I can follow up, when to call, and all that. Plus I do a manual for all these types of meetings here. Okay.
Okay, and what's the manual tracking system you've got for these meetings here?
The question again?
What's the manual tracking system? What are you tracking from the meetings here? What are you tracking?
I'm tracking their sales and their progress and what they're doing in business as well. And but in the main, I usually use it for connecting and building up my database for prospecting for business.
Okay, right. All right. So let's use you as a quick example. All right, prospect for business then, as in for you to get business. So prospect for sales business. Is that what you mean?
Well, yeah. If you've got all the details of when you met the person, whether at the pub, club, or at a business meeting.
No, I get that. No, I get that. Now, my question is, what are you tracking about prospects for business? So is it meaning, when you say prospects for business, meaning prospects for you, as in potential customers for you? That's what you're tracking?
Depending on the business that I'm in at the time, but their business activities, whether they've bought stuff or product or not,
All right, let's have a quick look. Let's use Ray as an example, right? So Ray, let's say that you were to track everybody that's here, right? And everybody. Now, how do you, in your tracking system, how do you know who's a prospect for you or not based off your current thing that you sell, which is the fuel tablets?
Depending on the conversation I had with them, whether they're looking for an opportunity or they're not, or whether the door opens in a conversation, they may be dissatisfied with what they're doing. I'll remember that, and I'll take the notes of that. And I use that as use that as part of my tools for following them up.
Okay, all right, thank you, Ray. So a simple tracking system for you, and we're going to use Ray as the example because we're going to see it very brightly here, is if Ray, to really track prospects manually, right? Let's say come to an event like this, write down every single person that's here, find out if they drive a car and highlight them in your notebook. Because if they drive a car, they're a prospect for Ray. If they don't drive a car, they're not, right? If they ride a bike, they're not, because Ray does fuel tabs, right? If he wanted a second highlighter, do you drive a car? The second one would be, do you fill it up? Because Simon drives a car, but I fill it up all the time. I don't know how that works, but the girl in the house seems to be the one that does it, right? So I become a prospect, but Simon would not, because he don't fill it up, right? So very simple tracking system. There is a manual for all the tracking systems that are out there, right? CRMs and all of those. I believe in all of those. They're all very important. But everywhere there will end up being somewhere some sort of manual tracking system that will have to be done somewhere, right? To make it really simple for yourself, but if for no other reason. So the manual versus automated, just quick show of hands for the tracking system, those who have it automated, just put your hand up. So CRM Hub would be one, but yeah. So yeah, so while automated is fantastic, at some point, if everything's automated, the salesman's left doing this, twiddling their thumbs, right? Because everything else is working except now the salesman. And how it works for sales is customers love to Google and they love to find exactly what they're after. But at some point, the salesman is going to have to do something that's manual towards the customer, which could be just simply answer the phone, call them up on the phone, or even just know exactly who is, like for Ray, the perfect prospect. Ray is the easiest person for us to work out the perfect prospect. He only has to say, I need to find people who drive cars. Great referral for me is people who drive cars. For me, I suppose a great referral for me is someone who reads books, because I've written sales books. So if you don't read a book, it's a tough sell, right? If you don't read books. If you want everything on Audible, not me, I don't have it on Audible, right? So tough sell to get someone to read who doesn't read. So a manual system could be a notebook of every single person at every event that you meet. So each event, 1 page per event, write it all down, highlight those who are the perfect prospect, right? Alison would look for, what would Alison look for to make it the perfect prospect? Babies, who has kids? Yes. Kids who have, yeah, parents who have households for kids. All right. Or, oh geez, that's recorded. All right. So yeah, so it could be, yeah, parents, or more specifically, it might be more to the point of parents with teenage kids, right? Not just any parent, because if you've got much older ones, well, they could be problematic, but not like, you know, the teenage ones, which is Alison can specialize in, but her specialty is teenagers, right? Parents with teenagers. And so then she could write a list of everyone, just highlight. She just has to ask one question. Who has teenagers? Highlight it. Who knows someone who has teenagers? Right. There's a potential referral sitting right there. All right. So one tracking system could be just your networking events. Another one, when you start doing networking events, a tracking system becomes how many networking events you've been to. Who knows how many networking events they've been to this year? Who's tracked that?
No idea.
So then, oh, yes. Okay, Mark, how many?
312.
Sorry, 312? Yep. How many people accumulate across all of them have been there?
I'd say, let's go 600.
At least 600 would be my guess. Yeah, you'd be looking at on average 600. All right, then. Next question becomes, of the 600, how many individual people are there? Because they would have turned up to a couple of ones each time, right?
Yeah, about 495.
495. Nice one, right? So you have a tracking system. Now, of that, what do you want your clients to have for you to sell your thing? What do they need?
A business.
Okay, so let's say if it's networking, that's everybody. All right, what else?
Probably a willingness to want to save money.
No, that won't be it. Everybody wants to save money. We don't understand how you help with that. So there has to be something that's simpler, right? I mean, Ray wants people who have a willingness to save money. But
Correct.
actually, he just needs to know, do you have a car first? Because you might want to save it, but if you don't have a car, it's pointless, right? So there has to be something to do with their payment system that incurs fees. So you need to find someone with a payment system that incurs fees. How are those fees done? So if someone direct
Well, that would be
puts money straight into
everyone.
their bank, sorry?
That would be everyone.
Well, I don't know. When I get money put directly into my bank account, I don't seem to incur a fee at all because it directly goes in. Somebody
Yeah.
puts that straight
Yeah,
in.
we're more talking about the business accepting the payment themselves rather than them making the payment.
Well, when somebody makes the payment to me, in my business, it goes straight into my bank account. I don't incur a fee.
That's right.
So if I transfer out, I don't incur a fee. If I'm just doing direct banking, I use Square, so I incur fees from Square. Can you help the person who incurs fees from Square?
Yes.
Okay, see, now that is an important person for you to know. Who uses Square could be a good question. Do you help people who incur fees from PayPal?
Yes.
Okay, that's an important person for you to know. If you have a banking system that uses PayPal, you can help them. All right, and then general EFTPOS machines, obviously.
Yeah. Anyone
my guess.
accepting those in their business.
Yeah. So then EFTPOS machines. So if I had an actual physical EFTPOS machine that you find at the supermarket, which to be fair is what I thought mostly that you used. It didn't occur to me Square was one, and it didn't occur to me that PayPal was one. I'm simply asking the question to get the answer, and you've actually, and the look on Alison's face was, oh, you've just told us more in those two answers than I've ever realised with you. Right?
It's a business either accepting card payments face-to-face over the phone, wanting to accept card payments on a recurring basis on a website, or a business who's incurring fees in transferring money offshore.
Okay, so here's the thing, here's the point, right? By having a manual system along with your automated system is, let's say you have it in a book, right? Let me just pick one of the books, right? I have a book here where I've got lists of names for certain things, right? So it might be a networking event and a list of names. So that could be one event, and then the next event will be a different list of names, right? If you come up with a manual tracking system, just write down the name and decide what you're going to track about them. So for you, Mark, it could be if they have Square or PayPal, right? Because most businesses have that, that are online networking, but then there might be another one for EFTPOS machines. That's important for us to know. It's not just who incur fees, it's certain fees. So now you could literally ask us very personally outside of the event, what are you doing with those fees? How are you getting them back? Or whatever it is that your list of questions are, right? By having it manual, it allows you, and writing it down, it allows you to keep in control of the people that you're meeting and know something about them very specifically. So I'm going to give you all an example on my wall, right? So we all know that at the moment I've just written a second book and it's about to go to the publisher, and I've got my boys that are helping sell it. So along the way, right, as Jack and I are learning to sell it, they started with a notebook with a list of names that they had to email. As they wrote to them, they ticked it all off. That was their manual system. Then when somebody said, yes, I want to buy it, they highlighted it. And once the payment went through and they sent a thank you, they did a full line across. Now they've got this notebook of much names and more highlighting. That then moved to a list over here. It moved to a manual list where they could write it all down. Do you know how you get 62 sales? One at a time. So one at a time, they had to write it down until they've got a list of 62. It's across 3 sheets. Then for them to be able to see it better, we built a wall. Everybody started green on the wall to say that's how many books are sold, 63. Now, what's interesting is 63 sales is 63 customers. That's really cool. But I've written a book already. And we went back through and thought, well, how can we maximize each sale for the customer and for yourself as the salesman? Went through, and the pink ones are those who have my first book. and have bought the second book. So now the green tickets become potential add-on sales. And it's a simple system for a child to do, where they just have to email each person and say, do you have mum's first book? Do you have mum's first book? If they do, we turn them pink. If they don't, they ask, would you like it? I can send it out with the first book. And now they have a second sale. And at the very end, when it's done, they'll go through, they'll find all the ones from America. And so America is different because I don't get to see them face to face, but a lot of Americans have gone out face to face. We're looking for what's another way for them to utilize a manual system. And they'll go to the Americans and they'll say, do you go to face-to-face events? If so, do you need a door prize? Would you like a second book? Because the exchange rate is so good at the moment, it makes for a really easy door prize to send across. I'm sending the first, would you like the second? Right? And so now the boys with with a manual system, but there's like about 6 manual systems.
Did she freeze for everyone or is it me? Okay, good. Coming back.
But what it means is very visually, they can.
Yeah, it looks like our connection is a bit dicky.
Are you there?
Frozen in time.
I think so.
Time for a screen grab.
Yeah, she'll love that.
Oh, hello.
You back?
Well, I can hear you.
Oh, well, we can hear you now, but you're frozen. Nope, now we can't hear you.
Oh, she dropped out.
She's become a myth. It's Misty.
All right, look, we might move into the news and shout outs and then let Misty's service fix itself. And then when she comes back, we'll ask her all the questions that we've got so that we're not all just sitting here in silence staring at our computers. So does anyone have any news, shout outs, the people that you connected with, or any shameless promotions? Fred, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to Cal. He jumped in my room earlier today and at a half a minute's notice, grabbed a Guernsey and just did a great presentation on CRM Hub, which I thought was amazing, and taught me some stuff in it that I didn't already know was available in it. So appreciate it, Cal. Thanks for your effort and nice work.
Good job. Anyone else got something coming up that they'd like to plug? Oh, come on, people. There's got to be something happening in our lives. I've got nothing either. Oh, I just realized we're still recording. Jason, when you get to this bit, please just cut it off. No one's got anything else?
Are we doing, we're doing offers or shout outs? Or a combination?
Both.
Okay. Alrighty. So for all premium members and above, and is it platinum and titanium members? Let's go with that too. I'm offering a free website audit. So that involves me personally going through your website. And yes, be prepared for me to call it an ugly baby. And then I'll be able to book in a consulting session after that to give you the actionable steps that you can take to make it beautiful, or to throw it in the bin and start again. But we'll work on that. Okay. Thanks very much.
Awesome. I know I not long had one of my websites rebuilt and it's already starting to feel old. So I might take you up on that, Stuart, because I never know what should be on there, what shouldn't be on there. Yeah, it's not my forte. If only I had a son that was very tech-minded and could do it for me.
It's your forte, not your forte, you see?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Well, it feels like something I would have to climb. It feels heavy. Yes. Does not feel like fun at all. All right. Well, I think, Misty, are you back yet?
Oh, she's gone.
Okay.